Hello folks, I'm John Myrie and welcome to the Wisconsin Northland Outdoors. On this week's show, we talk with Jamie down at Hayward Bait and Bottle, and then we have some great ice fishing tips for you from ice fishing pro Bro Brosdahl again. And then lastly, we've got some great tips for panfish from fishing guide Erik Thue. Lots to cover on this week's show, all coming up right after these messages.
Finally, hit the trails again with the Polaris Holiday Sales Event at Hayward Power Sports. We have remaining 2024 and 2025 Polaris snowmobiles offering up to $3,000 rebate or a 0% financing for up to 60 months or a 2-year limited warranty. We have a wide range of sleds from the economy price Polaris 550 Voyager LXT 2-Up to the unstoppable factory turbocharged Polaris 80 VR1 boost. They'll go fast, so don't get left out in the cold. Hurry to Hayward Power Sports, just 10 minutes east of Hayward on Highway 77.
The Hayward Lakes Visitors and Convention Bureau in Sawyer County, Wisconsin welcomes you to our Northwoods hometown. No matter the season, no matter the activity, you'll always be surrounded by our great outdoors. What more could you ask for in a vacation destination? Woods, waters, world-class events. Contact us for information on lodging, dining, attractions, events, trail conditions, and more. Order your free vacation guide and start planning your getaway today. Visit us at haywardlakes.com or call 1-800-724-2992.
Riding along in my automobile.
Bumping into things unexpectedly? Make your first choice for collision repair. Ernie's Auto Body, featuring the most advanced collision repair facility in Northwest Wisconsin. With a state-of-the-art spray, bake down, draft paint booth for that better-than-new finish, laser technology for precision frame alignment, loaner cars available, computerized estimates, written guarantees, and documented unmatched customer service, the clear choice is Ernie's Auto Body, south of Hayward on Highway 63 and Nursery Road, where quality is no accident.
Lynn's Custom Meats and Catering welcomes you to stop by for their great lunch menu. And while you're there, Lynn's also has a great selection of custom-cut meats and sausages, as well as many varieties of snack sticks, jerky, fresh cheese curds, and much more. Lynn's is open Mondays through Fridays from 9 to 5:30 and 9 to 4 on Saturdays. Lynn's Custom Meats and Catering in Hayward.
Today, anglers fish longer. Today, anglers fish harder. Today, anglers rely more than ever on their electronics. It all comes down to catching more fish, and today, anglers rely on Amped Outdoors lithium batteries, period. Visit ampedoutdoors.com today to power your outdoor experience.
We're recording this week down at Hayward Bait and Bottle with Jamie down here. Jamie, good to have you on here again.
Thanks, John. Glad to be on.
Well, let's talk a little bit about ice fishing. You know, we've been talking about fall fishing, but ice fishing, everything really changed this week with that big cold blast coming in, and we're making ice before that. If there isn't somebody out there this weekend on some of the real small ponds, it would surprise me, but you want to be very, very careful going out because it's still very early in the season. And, if you get some snow on that ice, it can be awful thin underneath. You don't even know it. You want to be real careful.
Right, exactly. I mean, my best recommendation would be don't be out in, 30 feet deep water. You kind of want to be towards, couple feet deep. That way, if you do fall in, you can get yourself out.
One of the best pro anglers I know of is over in Minnesota. I'll have him on later in the show here. Bro Brosdahl. Bro says absolutely he does a lot of guiding for ice fishing, but he says, I do not go out until I got 4 inches of solid clear ice.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, right now it's kind of easy to get out there because all the fish are towards the shore a little bit, chasing all the little guys. So right now, you want to stay on that not so deep water.
Well, and that's the last thing to freeze, the deeper water. But, deep is a relative term, Jamie. When you're talking about lakes, if you're talking the bigger lakes, you're talking deep water, a lot of the crappies and bluegills will be out in that deeper water. But when you're talking smaller lakes that maybe get to be 15 feet deep, those freeze over a lot more quicker and more solid.
Right, exactly. So, those will be, your smaller lakes are going to be the safest ones. at this time.
Yeah, you want to be careful, and I recommend people going out, if you're going to go out, you want to set an ice fixer on your neck so you got to be able to pull yourself out. And I mentioned before last week, I'm a very big proponent of these floating ice suits.
Yeah, I agree. That is, an extra safety precaution that you could save your life. And here at the shop, if you need one, you can come on down and we should be able to order it here and get it to you.
Anyway, let's talk about the ice fishing. The first thing that a lot of people go out after will be the walleyes, and the walleye tip-up fishing should be pretty good.
Yeah, I've had people coming in telling me they're getting the walleyes, right off the shore, kind of. They're not taking their boats out anymore, but they're out there getting the walleye suckers, catching walleye. I've heard stories, good stories.
And northern pike fishing should be good early in the season, too.
Yeah, they're in any weeds, that are left and haven't died off yet. Still in that kind of shallow region, I'd say 8 to 15 feet-ish.
Yeah, and there'll be other fish out there, too. Bluegill fishing and crappie fishing should be pretty good if you can find a lake where they are up in the weeds and shallower.
Yep, you got to find them weeds. That's the key. They're out there chasing them little guys. So, and, you want to, towards the bottom and, deep basins and things like that, small jigs. Everybody's been buying crappie minnows right now, and they've been working well. I've been hearing good things.
Besides the fishing, the deer season is underway now. Have you heard much on that?
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of guys are out there in their stands. They're seeing a lot, but not that, trophy buck they want to get quite yet.
And I know down here at the shop, you guys are all geared up for the hunting season, too. You've got everything and that they would need as far as you've got guns and everything else.
Oh, yeah, we sure do. We actually took our gun counter was, towards the back of the store, kind of hidden. And last week we took it and we moved it to the front of the store. And hopefully more people will see and realize that we have guns for sale. And, we can also order any kind of gun you want, basically. There's a couple that we can't. I was asking John. But, yeah, we got everything you need. If you want to order something special, we can do that as well.
Yeah, and you've got all that stuff plus the ice fishing stuff. You've kind of got everything set. You're working still on setting stuff up for ice fishing.
Yeah, we just have a little bit of stuff to tie up here. And we've got all of our tip-ups up, all of our jigs, all of our accessories. We are basically putting shacks together. That's all we got to do and get ready to sell them.
A lot of new stuff out there this year, you think?
Yeah, quite a few new things. I went to a couple of shows with Jarrett and Tim, the owner, and we personally picked out a couple new shacks, the latest, of course. And we do have a couple from last year. We've got, all of our augers set up now, and everything ice is pretty much set up here and ready to go.
A big thing, and we've talked about this before too, a big thing seems to be the big rage is ice camping. And you have any shelters that would be set up for camping overnight out there on the ice?
We do, yeah. We should have everything here. We got shelters, we got sleds, we got your heaters if you need that. We got plenty of propane tanks. We've got all the bait and rods and reels in the world that you'd need. Plenty of tip-ups and augers, basically anything you need. We should have it here for a one-stop shop to get you set up. This year we have something new. There are these little foam puzzle pieces that you put on the bottom of your, shack floor. My boss Jarrett, he bought a bunch. He bought a new ice shack, and he's getting it all ready and set up to go out on the ice in a couple weeks here. He's eager.
Yeah, well, there'd be a lot of things interesting going on. I know you plan on getting out ice fishing. I know you like to fish.
Yeah, I'm planning on getting out a couple times this year. I've got a couple dates already set up with a few of my friends, and we're going to get out there. I didn't really go last year. I was so busy, and this year I'm really making an effort to get out there, learn more, see what you guys are doing, what you're catching, and how I can, sell and do more things here at the shop for everyone.
Jamie, I want to thank you greatly for taking the time with us here.
All right, awesome. Thanks for having me on again, John. Have a good week.
Well, folks, we need to take a break right now and hear from some of the fine sponsors that make this show possible every week. When we come back, we'll be talking ice fishing with Ice Fishing Pro and Fishing Guide Bro Brosdahl again. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages. Hunters and anglers, Hayward Bait and Bottle is your one-stop sport and bottle shop in Hayward. They have a huge selection of ice fishing gear, including portable shelters, power augers, electronics, beaver dam tip-ups, ice rods, and just about anything you'll need for ice fishing. They also have archery supplies, bows, crossbows, muzzle loaders, ammo, and much more to help you enjoy the outdoors. While you're there, check out the bottle shop for a full selection of beer, wine, and liquor, too. Hayward Bait and Bottle is your one-stop sport and bottle shop. There's no time like the present to explore Hayward, Wisconsin, one of the Midwest's most popular vacation destinations. With crystal clear lakes for water sports and fishing, miles of trails for riding snowmobiles, ATVs, cross-country skiing, hiking, and mountain biking, this area is buzzing with activity year-round. Combined with charming local shops and a variety of Northwoods dining options, Hayward is certain to offer both adventure and relaxation for everyone. Plan your trip today and find everything you need on the Hayward Area Chamber of Commerce website. From events and attractions to local dining, shopping, and lodging, visit haywardareachamber.com and start your next adventure now.
Hayward Power Sports asks, can you hear the cool, crisp air calling your name? Make sure you have the perfect companion, a new Can-Am side-by-side or ATV from Hayward Power Sports. We still have a solid selection of new 2025s with rebates up to $4,000 or 0% financing for 36 months. Looking for Can-Am dominance at a value price? Check out a 2025 Can-Am Defender DPS HD7. With the $1,000 rebate, it's priced at just $13,899. As a matter of fact, all remaining 2025 Can-Am Defender HD7s offer a $1,000 rebate, while the HD9s and HD10s have $2,000 rebates. Or be the first to have the latest and greatest Defender yet, the new for 2026 Can-Am Defender Limited HD11 with a dominating 95 horsepower and an awesome 10.25-inch touchscreen with GPS navigation. Answer the call with the new Can-Am from Hayward Power Sports, just 10 minutes east of Hayward on Highway 77.
Certain restrictions apply, subject to credit approval. See your dealer for details.
When you need light for outdoor activities, you'll want a compact light that does not strap to your head. Meet DEX FingerLight at fingerlight.com. FingerLight's patented Grip-to-Night ring fits any finger, keeping your hands free to fish, navigate, and handle gear. With 3 light modes, it's durable, waterproof, and rechargeable. Invented for surgeons, but developed by outdoorsmen. DEX FingerLight is faster and easier than a headlamp. For a limited time now, get 15% off at fingerlight.com using the promo code Northland15 at checkout. Welcome back to another segment of this week's Wisconsin Northland Outdoors, and this part of the show is brought to you by the Hayward Lakes Visitor and Convention Bureau. For more information on lodging and vacationing here in the Hayward Lakes area, check out their website at haywardlakes.com. Well, folks, you know, last week we had ice fishing pro Bro Brosdahl on here talking about ice fishing and a lot more. Well, this week we've got him on again for the second part of that talk we had with Bro. We're talking to pro angler and fishing guide Bro Brosdahl. And Bro, you know, we're talking about the electronics too, as far as finding fish in the wintertime. Used to be you had to drill a bunch of holes and keep looking until you found the fish. Now you can drill 1 or 2 or 3 holes with forward-facing sonar, and you can pretty much pin down where they're at. There is one thing I should mention on that too, is that, you know, if you're out there and you're after crappies in particular, and you find those fish out in the basin and they're deep, you know, you're not going to be able to release those fish. You might think you're releasing them, but they're dying under the ice on you. So you got to be really careful there. You know, that new technology has allowed us to find these fish in places that we maybe shouldn't be pulling them out of.
Oh, exactly. Well, and I try not to target fish in real deep water because, you know, a lot of times I like to catch and release, and I got plenty of lakes that only get in the teens and low 20s that have fish, and they don't have the blown out arteries under their chin, and they're really good. But and another thing too is a lot of times they'll be 4 or 5 feet off the bottom. But yeah, just watch that real deep stuff. And if you're setting up a house, you can't just keep sorting through and throwing them back. I've met a lot of people on the ice that have a clicker with huge numbers, and they're sitting in 45 feet of water. Well, I hated to tell them that everything on the clicker is dead. And, you know, will some make it? Very few. There's been a lot of different studies going on, and the only thing they couldn't figure out is delayed mortality, because you let the fish go, it swims to the bottom, then it dies. And nobody has that number, but we all know it happens because they're sitting under the ice in the spring when all the eagles are and everything are there, these rotten fish, especially when the snow melts off. We don't need to do that.
No.
Wisconsin and Minnesota have such great fisheries. Let's care for them and just take what you need to eat. If you want to go play around, go shallow. There's a lot of cool flowages and lakes that have shallow water bites for everything. Go out there and have a blast.
You know, it's kind of when you're out there in the boat in the late fall and you're fishing those crappies that are out in the basin, you can tell real quick because you go to release them and you can see that they don't go down. But you put them drop them in a hole and they may go up underneath the hole, but you can't see whether they go down. So you could be throwing a lot of fish back that just swim over there underneath the ice and die.
Yeah, and just take what you need is basically that's modern age, and that's. It's all about having fun. And with light clothes, light augers, Syncray has some super light rods that perform really well for ice fishing. And you still got to catch some fish. And so micro tackle, like tungsten tackle, there's a tungsten forage spoon coming out from Northland Tackle this year. It's concave and tungsten, so you get some action out of it. But they make them in such small sizes. It's perfect for crappies, bluegills, perch. And then, you could add a single hook so you can T-bone a minnow on there. And it's not about, having 1/3 the hookup. I use a Gamakatsu Siwash single hook on some of my spoons, not all of them. There's a time for a treble and time without. When I hook up on a walleye or a big crappie perch, there's no hook ready to hook the ice. That treble hooks have unserved fish at the bottom of the ice hole so many times for people. I hear the stories when I do the shows, sports shows, how they lose walleyes at the bottom of the hole because they get hung up with that treble hook. Well, try a Siwash hook. What it is, it's the eyelet is open. So you just slip it on your split ring and pinch it shut with a little crimp, little needle nose, and it is razor sharp and it really nails a fish. That's a Siwash. That's what Siwash means, open eye. And I have a whole box full all the time, from little tiny panfish ones to big, meaty walleye-sized ones. Even for lake trout and northerns, really opened up my eyes, and it's my new favorite hot thing now to add to stuff.
When you're talking spoons and jigging spoons, do you see people maybe fish them wrong? I mean, what kind of presentation do you recommend when you're fishing a jigging spoon for fish?
Well, one high hop to start it all out, and then more of a lift and fall. Don't lift and fall too fast, because on the fall it still takes time for it to settle into place. So lift and fall just real slow, hop, and 1 to 2 inch movements. If you're fishing a large body of water, you can get by with lifting it slow and then let it fall. That works really well. If the fish are super aggressive, then rip it, 2-foot rips, and let it settle into place. If a walleye's coming in and he ain't biting, I'll drop it to the bottom and just pound the bottom, and it kicks up a little debris, and that gets them riled up. And they hear with their lateral line, so basically it'll get those sensations going with the fish, and he'll just hammer that spoon, just bounce it on the bottom. They come down, they'll try to pin it down with their chin, and they'll just inhale it.
I think jigging baits in general, whether it's just a lead head jig or whether it's for crappies or everything else, I think a lot of people just plain overwork a jig. I mean, it becomes a point where you're ripping it. If the fish are hot and active, that triggers fish. But there's a lot of times when those fish, it may be the turnoff to the fish when it jumps up 3 feet off the bottom.
Absolutely. I've watched them, and I've used, Northland tungsten long shank jigs and short shanks through the ice also with a whole minnow, even plastics, some TPE, eye candy, 3.5 inch minnow, work at times. Everything has a time. So sometimes early ice plastics really get the big bites from fish, and I'm not ripping it. I'm just shaking the tail, and then you could actually, if you're watching it on your forward-facing sonar in down mode, like I am on my Humminbird Explorer, I can lift it, and it's always going forward as I set it down. and then you can just hold it in place and just wiggle the tip of that tail, and they'll just come in and crush it. A lot of times even holding it still. So early ice plastics work well, but always a good shiner or a rainbow or dace on a jig works fantastic too. So I always leave my options open, and spoons are hard to beat. Spoon and a minnow head work fantastic. A spoon and a T-bone minnow were really, one of my main choices last year with a single hook. And I'd hook the minnow, not in the dorsal. A lot of times when the walleyes are real finicky how they hit, they would tear it off. So I'd hook it right behind the head. And there's a nice little fat bit of meat behind the head on a fat head without breaking their spine. And just kind of hook the hook kind of forward. So when the fish eats, even though it's right behind his head, you're not going to miss any bites because you're not letting them grab in too far. And that hook is right there. So try hooking them behind the head and T-bone them or hook it forward instead of dorsal.
Well, folks, we need to take another break and hear from even more of the fine sponsors that make this show possible every week. When we come back, we'll hit the second part of that talk we had with Bro Brosdahl. So stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages. Hey folks, come on over to Hayward Ace Hardware and check out the area's largest selection of firearms, ammo, and accessories. We carry top brands like Browning and Sig Sauer, and we have a great selection of the newest and hard-to-find models. We've got a large selection of ammo with more coming in daily. If you need a scope, we carry great brands like Leupold, Hawk, and EOTech, and we'll even mount it and bore-sight it for you too. We even sell suppressors and silencers. And don't forget to check out our Guns of the Week. Huge discounts on a variety of pistols, rifles, and shotguns that change every week. So stop on in to Hayward Ace Hardware, your firearms superstore. Hayward Ace Hardware, Highway 63 North in Hayward, or give us a call at 715-634-8700.
It's that time of year where every twig snap could be from a monster buck. Hayward Feed and Seed can help improve your odds with deer corn, deer apples, food and mineral blocks, and their famous Big Buck Blend. Hunt in comfort with the quality Amish-built blinds and platforms they sell. Hayward Feed and Seed can also satisfy the other animals in your life with a massive variety of dog and cat foods, along with other pet foods and large animal feeds. Open at 8 a.m. Monday through Saturday. See Hayward Feed and Seed. Hayward Animal Hospital is a full-service medical and surgical hospital featuring on-site laboratory, digital and dental x-ray, in-house pharmacy, and online store. Dr. Ostrander has 40 years of experience dealing with illnesses, injuries, surgery, and dentistry. Hayward Animal Hospital offers urgent care appointments and emergency surgery daily. Please call early in the day for these appointments. They open at 8 a.m. Hayward Animal Hospital is located 1 mile east of Hayward on Highway B. Call 715-634-8971.
Hey folks, the Log Cabin Store in Northwoods Beach on Highway K between the Big Lakes has groceries, ice, beer, liquor, and pop, and now has all new tackle and bait supplies. All current antiques and household items are now on sale and all must go to make room for the sport shop. That's at the Log Cabin Store in Northwoods Beach between the Big Lakes.
If you'd like to have your time fishing be more enjoyable and productive, hiring a fishing guide can be a good investment. Whether it's learning more about fish patterns throughout the year, learning how to use your depth finder to find the best spots and fish, learn how to use that GPS to get the most out of it, or learn better boat control. A day on the water with a guide can really help you to be a better angler as well as make a day on the lake very enjoyable. To book a guide trip this year or get more information, you can find us on the internet at www.wiscnorthlandoutdoors.com and then just click on Area Guides.
Welcome back to the last segment of this week's Wisconsin Northland Outdoors. And folks, we're going to jump right back into the second part of that talk we had this week with ice fishing pro Bro Brosdahl. And you mentioned, fishing walleyes with the jig and spoons, but jig and spoons work on panfish. I've caught bluegills on them. But no matter what you're jig fishing for crappies and bluegills, I've seen this, and you've seen it too on this forward-facing sonar. Now, that's a real educational tool as far as seeing how fish react to baits. You jig that thing too high and too aggressively, and it plain spooks the fish away almost all the time.
Absolutely, I agree. And the real trick is to jig in the hole and look at how your lure looks. Does it look like an insect? Does it look like a fleeing bait? And then drop it down and recreate the scenario that that you did in the hole. But with my Humminbird Explorer and down view, I could see every detail of the fish, super detailed, even their fins. And I watch how they react to it. You know, sometimes, last year, quite a few times, right at dark, we had to let it sit completely still. And then when you moved it, they'd rifle in and grab it. That really woke them up. But kind of silhouetting the bait against the bottom of the ice really gets them going. Or during the day, when I drop it down, I don't always go to the bottom. If I see fish down there, I'll jig just a little bit under the hole and slowly drop it a foot at a time. Then when you get down there, you get super aggressive hits. So I start from the bottom of the ice and I work my way down if I'm 20 feet or less. You know, having lighter clothes, better boots and gloves like Fish Monkey gloves and batteries that last forever like the Amped Outdoor batteries, and just having a super light sonar that has GPS with 1 foot contours and mapping, and you can even make your own maps. But to have that and have it light, and then a razor auger, it's doesn't get any better than that, because just a power tool in the garage with a brushless capacity, you can put a razor bit on it and you can drill, and it's effortless. It's so smooth that we don't drill holes anymore. We razor holes.
My bro, you gonna have your roadshow podcast thing this fall here?
Yes, it's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and I'm gonna run that through December every Wednesday, and it's all about ice fishing. So definitely tune into that.
Where do they find that?
That's at Bro's Guide Service or on YouTube, and that's the Bro Roadshow, named after the trip I took through the ice belt, talking ice fishing and doing seminars across the whole United States, top to bottom.
Well, bro, I know you also guide over there in Minnesota. You fished a lot of the waters over here, too. You used to fish a lot of tournaments and stuff. But if somebody's interested in hiring you for a guide over there, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, just go to brosguideservice.com, and then we can figure out dates that work for us.
Well, bro, I want to thank you greatly for taking the time coming on here, and everybody out there needs to tune into the Bro Roadshow and get some good information, because I watch it in the fall myself, and there's a lot of good tips and information on there.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me, John.
Well, folks, as we wrap up this week's show, we've got some great tips for you for finicky winter panfish from fishing guide Erik Thue. Erik, when it comes to ice fishing, sometimes a panfish can get really, really particular as far as their bite. There are a few things we can do to kind of up the odds of catching fish, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Mid-season, a lot of times, some of our panfish do kind of consolidate into certain areas, sometimes deeper basins, sometimes specific structure, but it really comes down to, your rod and reel, but also your jig, what you're dropping down in that hole. And sometimes downsizing, tungsten can be a very beneficial jig to have in the box, whereas you can downsize to extremely small size hooks and a small presentation, but still be able to get down there fast enough.
Even downsizing your line makes a difference, though.
Oh, 100%. Almost on all my panfish setups, for bluegills especially, I'm running 2 to 3 pound tests, pretty consistently.
I've seen guys go way down to using monofilament sewing thread even. That's fine.
Yeah, oh gosh, I believe it. And there's something to be said about it. And I think, when you put the pieces together of the puzzle, from the rod to your line to using the right jigs for the right, for that day, whether it is tungsten or whether it's lead even, and downsizing or upsizing can make or break that day.
Just keep changing things. You can't just sit there and say they're not biting, because there's something they will bite on.
Oh, absolutely. And it could just be as simple as your jigging stroke, the cadence of that jig. And sometimes it's as simple as set that rod down, let it dead stick, and watch that bite specifically, and don't even touch that rod until you know you got one on.
Erik, I want to thank you. You want to quick give out your phone number for your guiding?
Absolutely. They can reach me at 612-384-9127.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, folks, we're about out of time for this week's show. I'd like to remind everyone out there that if you miss a show, go to our website at wnoradio.com. And from there, you can link to our podcast site, and the show is also on Spotify and Google Podcasts every week. And also, if you're looking for information on vacationing and lodging here in the Hayward Lakes area, check out the Hayward Lakes Visitor and Convention Bureau website at haywardlakes.com. Thanks for listening, folks. We're out of time, and we'll be back again next week with another interesting show for you.
Listen with me, I'm gonna take you there to our Wisconsin outdoors, our Wisconsin outdoors.
This program has been produced and hosted entirely by Wisconsin Northland Outdoor Communications.